Ooh, soul? Don't cross that line with me. You fucking baiter. Jesus, don't do that to me. Someone on TikTok, get this. I posted a TikTok and somebody called me Unkette. Thank you for the lurk, Orchid. Have fun playing Faz. If you have 2 free spots in Faz, I know me and JoJo would be down for it. Because we're playing 7 Deadly Sins, but I'd be down for Faz. I'd be so down for Faz if Orchid has 2 spots. She's small dick. Don't fucking call me Unk. Go to the corner. Go to the corner. Go to the corner. Twiz and Soul. Corner. Now. I'm gonna see if who she's playing Faz with, because I would fucking love to play. I love 7 Deadly Sins, but playing Faz with Orchid and JoJo would be so fun, and probably Chaos. Let me see. Where is that beautiful woman? Is she live? Is she live? Is she live right now? Or we play Frag. What's wrong with Unk? It's a good thing. People
You've been a very naughty little brat. Go to the corner and think about what you've done.
People
Pathetic.
are using it to call women old. Especially women streamers. I'm not old. Orchid, 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 don't leave. Don't leave. Are you there, Orchid? Are you live? Oh my god, that scared me. On the inside, I flinched so hard. On the outside, I was like stoned, though. That's not what it means. I've been seeing people call, on like Twitter and stuff, calling female streamers like Unkette to make fun of them for their age. Oh my god, my mic stand is making me so mad today. Onyx, ignore my chat. This is why I don't come here. I did not ignore your chat. I was talking to you that whole time. I said, oh my god, hi, soul. Multiple times, actually. It means cool uncle, so I'm a cool uncle to you. Okay, I guess I'll take it. I'll take Unk, like, depending on which person it comes from, as a compliment or an insult. I'm just gonna do it like that. Yeah, I don't think, yeah, she's not live, so I don't know. I'm gonna be creepy and I'm gonna go stalk her. Hold on. Why? This mic is going to make me so mad. It just keeps getting higher and higher. Jesus. I am not the creepy uncle. I'm the cool uncle. Are you kidding me? Could you imagine me as your uncle or your aunt? I'm the coolest ever. Then I'd be because I'm an uncle. Good night, soul. Do your chores. The supreme soul. The supreme soul. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna be a creep. I have the hiccups. I apologize. Oh no, you see my list of friends. Who's she playing Faz with? Who's she playing Faz with? Who you playing Faz with? Okay. I don't know who she's playing Faz with. It says she's playing Faz. I would love to play Faz. I want to learn more about it. Fun fact, Lucifer said he wanted Chessie to embarrass herself. She fell. She listened to the drunk uncle. I wish you would have got it on video. That way you could have sent him the video. Like, if you found a way to, like, send him a video or something. Or, like, tell him she did it. That would be funny. Actually, I am going to message Orchid. my baby orchid. Okay. Okay, let's get to the game finally. We just have remnants of her self fumble. No. No, not the self fumble. God, I am extra ghostly today for some reason. I don't know why. I'm so sorry. Okay. Events. We gotta check everything. New players. Welcome. Welcome. Dope. We got all of them. Awesome. Nope. Nope. What's this? Okay. Sunlight mission. Crafting and a boss challenge. Okay. Coming together. Total progress. I am when we spoke to my bio nephew and nieces before my friend's kid who all refer to me as Uncle or Uncle Mike. I'm Uncle Wedgie to my. Oh, that's cute. My name is Auntie Kiki. Auntie Kiki to my nieces and nephews. My babies. We can draw. Can we draw? Ooh, I have 10. We can draw. Draw 10. Give me something good. Come on, please. That is like the worst possible thing you could give me. I'm disappointed. I used all of it. Daisy. Aw, I should have drawn from each of them. What the fuck? Man! Who the fuck is Daisy? Who are you? I have so many notifications. What do I do? Notifications. Back. There's so much to do. Cat's moving, I see it. Uncle Wedgie is a great nickname. My kid's uncle, he used to be called Uncle Fupa, and then we changed it to Uncle Appa. Barcha has prepared a gift for their journey ahead. He has entrusted the gift to Yulia near the West Gate. Along the way, stop by and celebrate. What is a gift? A man named Esmo claims to know information about element stones. He says it'll be better to see for yourself. Go to the location indicated by Esmo. Following Ashu's instructions, Tristan caught a young giant bird. Now it can accompany the gang on the adventures. Tell Ashu. Oh, I have to go talk to Ashu again? It's so far away. Oh, I'm so far away. No. I don't want to. Can you close? Hello? I want to explore the castle area. My name is Wesley, so it's easier and more fun for the kids. Wes, I've always loved the name Wesley ever since I heard it in the later seasons of the Vampire Diaries. Silent T. Wesley. Wesley. I love that name. Oh my god, I have so many I have to type. Gifts! Prezzies! Oh my god, it's Christmas morning. Holy crap. Oh, I'm getting treated so good. I'm being fed. I'm fed. I'm nourished. Thank you so much. Announcement? I don't care. What are the events again? I wanna... Most connect my name to the Princess Bride. I have never fully seen the Princess Bride, actually. I don't know if that's gonna shock anybody, but... I thought of Wesley Snipes too. I thought of Blade. Inconceivable. Complete main quest. Have I not completed this quest yet? Okay. Oh, hold on. Whoopsies, sorry guys. I was checking my Discord because Orchid answered. Where do we want to go? Oh my god, the mouse? I can't adjust. No, 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 no. Is there... Is there like mouse sensitivity? I guess not. Oh. Should that be better? I'm super white. I used to joke and say I'm not that black. People call me Wesley Snipes. I'm super white. Oh no. I love the Blade movies. Which Blade movie is your favorite? Quick. 1, 2, or 3? Which one? And why is it the third one? Oh, number 1 is your favorite. Beef. Yes. The third one's my favorite too. Dracula is sick. So fucking sick. Okay, where's the castle? That's the gate. Love Blood Brave. It was the blood, yeah. Hannibal, yeah. Hello? Am I allowed in here? Wow. Can I go in these? Can he step on me if I let him? Aw. Oh my god, my ear itches. I can't. No! No, I think my favorite... I love the storyline of all 3 of the movies. I don't know if I have a favorite storyline though, because they were all so good. Like, the second one and the third one are in neck and neck for my favorite movie. What is happening over here? Hey there, the guard told me you might need some help. What's the matter? I really need to get inside the castle. Is it echoing for you guys? Is that the game or is that me? Now I'm paranoid. I have something to ask my mom and my sister. You need proper clearance to enter the castle. It's not a place you can go in and out of freely. You're the prince, aren't you? Can't you just give me permission to enter? Well, I don't know if that's such a good idea.
Yeah, you're fucking muted.
No, I'm not. You don't hear an echo? Okay. I think it's just the game then. I wanted to make sure. I don't want an echo to happen like the last time. Wait, don't cry. I swear to God, I heard an echo. Are your mom and sister inside the castle? What do you need to ask them? Dolly's gone missing. I'm sure my mom and sister know where she is. If I don't get Dolly back... okay, I'll go ask them for you. Where does your sister work? My sister is a maid in the castle. I don't know where, though. Aw, man. Then what's her name? Yuna. My sister's name is Yuna. It sounds like tuna, and I don't like that. No, I love tuna. But I don't like somebody being named Tuna. I'd be upset if I met somebody named Tuna. Dolly has gone missing. I'll ask her. Wait here and don't cry, okay? Woo! Here? Oh. There's no in-game voice chat, is there? I can't remember if there is. No. No, there is not. Perfect. Up. Oh my god. This game is a masterpiece. Respectfully, fuck that kid. Fuck who kid? Oh, the little crybaby? Oh my god. Load in. Chill out. Is there any dropped frames for you guys? Any skipping? Am I supposed to go over there? I don't want to. I'm gonna go in the dark, creepy the crybaby. He needs to chill out. Children are dramatic. Not enough stamina. Hi! Okay. Fuck off, then. Can I rob? No, she's Molly. I'm supposed to talk to Dolly. Before the food. I'm just gonna pick up quests while we're running around. This is bad. It's a catastrophe. Has he tried looking for his doll? Probably not. I thought he was about to sock him in the head. Also, guys, I was gonna ask you, do you want to do like a demo night soon with games? And then also, I really want to do horror games because I really want to be scared. I miss playing horror. I haven't played like any horror lately, which is crazy. I'm going to have her head. The food's going to get cold if we don't get it out soon. Why isn't she here yet? Hold on, Mr. Gordon. Please calm down. I'll help you before the food gets cold. Where do you need me to take it? Thank you, Your Highness. You're giving a prince food to deliver? Take this roast turkey, throw it right in Elza's face, wherever she is. I don't like that name either. I bet she's hiding out somewhere, slacking off. Go give her a swift kick in the butt and send her to the banquet hall. I'm not gonna kick her, but I'll take this to her right away. Do I got food now? Can I just eat it? Where are my quests? Tab? Oh, it's right. Mission? I thought it was under mission. Quest. Oh, over here. Okay. Go there. Oh, get back this way.
Not expecting that. It seems like the comments reflect. That's very nice. Most of the comments I see nowadays throw them off.
Jojo didn't deafen Discord so I can hear all the background noise in his house. That was his son talking in the TV. I can hear all the background noise in his house. But not him. Ooh! Aw. Okay, I guess let's go talk to her. Oh my god. Calm down. The freaking... The mouse sensitivity is actually insane. It's crazy. Oh, that's so much better. Hello, ma'am. Do your job. Lazy ass. What? What the fuck? She's treating me like a maid. Shouldn't you be working right now? Yeah. It's fine. I'm counting on you, Your Highness. You... There's something wrong with you. Talk to Samuelson and Leona's castle. This way. This way. This castle is sick! I love this. Ooh. For me? You shouldn't have. Hell yeah, brother. What am I doing? The second floor? What's the second floor? Hey! Oh. Wait. Huh? Outside? I am confusion. Hello? Brother, please. Does he I hope everybody had a good Monday. I'm not having the best Monday, but I'm actively putting in the effort to make it be a better Monday. You know what I mean? Oh. Oh my god. That looks delicious. Hey. Hello, you work at the banquet hall, right? I'm here to deliver some food. Oh, Your Highness, why you bring this here? We were expecting this, but we thought Elsa would be bringing it. What is a prince like you doing work like this? Miss Elsa is sleeping. Sleeping goodness. Alright. Hello?
What up?
Oh my god, you scared me. What are you doing?
Who?
You.
I'm about to play a game.
Well, yeah? Are you hopping on Seven Deadly Sins?
Yes.
Orchid... I think Orchid's playing with her friend in Chaos. So they don't have two spots, I don't think.
Are you saying you want to go play?
No, I'm playing Seven Deadly Sins.
You can.
No. No, that's what I'm telling you. If you wanted to, I could tell her if she ends up having
Jesus.
2 spots open to let me know.
Good
I
God.
would never ditch you. That hurts my feelings that you would think I'm that kind of person.
I know you're not.
I would never do that.
I need to
Sorry.
see what's running in the background.
Yeah, you muted yourself. You didn't deafen. And I heard your son and your TV.
Uh, you hear me now?
No. It was when you first popped into the Discord. Jojo
I
turning
thought
into
muting
Jigsaw.
wouldn't. I thought that would make you not hear anything from my side.
No, you have to deafen. I could hear your son and your TV.
Yeah, I told him to turn it down.
Because I
I just
knew
got
there
on
that
push to
wasn't
talk
coming.
now.
It wasn't coming from anywhere on my side. Thank you, Your Highness. You have my sincerest gratitude. Awesome. What was this? Oh yeah. Start track.
Does the Steam client web helper have to be on for the game to be up?
I have no idea. Why would you ask me that question?
Okay, apparently it doesn't need that.
This castle is
Okay, it
ridiculous.
restarted itself. Apparently it needs it.
Oh, did you delete it?
No, I ended the task.
Oh. Tuna. Prince of the Kingdom involved. They're asking a lot from the Prince of the entire kingdom. That's insane.
Oh, I need fucking RAM.
Ram. My mother's name is Molly. She should be in the kitchen taking care of. Oh, I was just there. Okay. Awesome. All right. That's fine. Oh, I ran out of stamina. This game is insanely pretty, and I love it so much. Like, look. Are you kidding me? Oh my god. I wonder if I can get this, if I can download this on my Switch. So I can play it off stream too. I need to have some games to play off stream. I am too caught up with not playing any games off stream ever because I always want to play it
We can
with
play
chat.
Frag.
I know. I need to do that. I'm really bad about like not playing any games off stream because I want to play it with chat. Like I barely...
Fuck chat.
I have so much fun streaming it though. I have so much fun with chat. So I actually legitimately feel bad when I play a game not on live stream. Near the dinner table where we always...
That's wild.
What?
You need to play some games off stream.
I know. Like, I start playing Zelda, like a Zelda game, and then I'm like, no, I want to play it on stream. Never had a chance to pitch it. Oh, okay. I didn't read any of this dialogue, but I'm guessing I did something good. I have to go back to the little boy now? Is that what I should do? Okay, follow the blue arrow, guys. That way? Wait, I think...
You should get the Game Pass for Frag.
I am so poor. I am poor. I'm
Say
so
no more.
poor. No, don't do that. Don't ever.
You said do it on Friday.
No!
I will.
No! Jesus. What's wrong with you? What's this?
A lot.
This way. This game is so pretty. Oh, wrong way. Oh my god. This game is so pretty.
It won't let me change the priority of 7 Deadly Sins.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it won't let me either. You don't have permission?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it said to me too.
What the fuck?
I know, it wouldn't let me either. I tried to do that. Do it, Jojo. You should deliver us the moon. It's a really... You should deliver us the moon a try. It's a really chill game about reconnecting the earth to the moon. Ooh, I'm here making us dinner. Hi, Jesse. Deliver us the moon. Deliver us the moon. Let me look that up. Deliver us the moon. Deliver us the moon. I really like that name. The moon has gone dark, cutting off Earth's... Let me pause this. Cutting off Earth's last source... I'll show chat. Cutting off Earth's last source of energy. As a lone astronaut, you explore abandoned lunar bases, solve intricate puzzles, and navigate stunning zero-gravity environments, operate advanced vehicles, uncover hidden truths, and survive in the gripping sci-fi thriller. This sounds so good. I thought you said it was chill. Hold on. You can't hear the noise. Hold. Let me see if this works. There you go. This sounds really good. Jojo, you should check it out. You might like it.
What?
This game that Beef talked about, Deliver Us the Moon. Sounds interesting.
Is it free?
It's $25.
Nope.
Exactly how I feel. I have like 80 million games. How do I... What?
You want to play Frag?
Kind of. I put 7 Deadly Sins on the schedule because I know you've been wanting to play it really badly. Oh, right here. You know I'm down to play anything. That's why I have to be a variety streamer. I can't stick with one thing. It was on PS Plus, that's why I played it. It looks really fun. I love any games with puzzles. I love puzzles. I love puzzles, and I love exploring, and I love platforming, and I love horror. Ragged work, terrifying monsters. The training grounds at the south gate. We gotta go to a gate. Are you not booting up Frag? Are you not booting up 7 Deadly Sins?
I am. I was trying to get it to do what I wanted it to do.
Gotcha. So ooh. I'm now robbing my own castle. Oh my god, this game is so pretty. Oh my god, Jojo. What are you running the graphics?
Very low.
Oh,
Yeah, I need RAM.
I have mine on max and it's so pretty. There's sparkles in the water. You can experience it through my stream.
Fuck you, dude.
I'm so sorry.
How far are you?
Not far. I haven't left the castle. I was doing like little side quests around like the castle and stuff. And just exploring. I wanted to look at it. It's so pretty.
Have you already done the fishing part?
Mm-mm.
That's what I'm doing.
No, I have not. Where are you? I'll look for you on the map. You gotta get in a group. How do I get over there? Climb this wall? Can't. Down.
Beef? Are you telling me you want to commit a crime with me?
Data centers are largely unmanned and contain lots of RAM. What? Do not plan illegal things in my chat, please. I am not a part of this.
Yes.
Okay. There we go. Do we have a glider? I can't remember. Oh my god, thank god we do. I would have died. Did you send me an invite?
What?
No, no. Said I am now able to send invites. What? Why won't it let me do it? It's weird. Bartra's gift. I don't know. Dylan? How much RAM do I have in my computer? Huh? I have 32 gigs of RAM, Dylan said.
Yeah, I've got 16.
I want to hold an intervention for Jojo for his obsession with Frag. To be fair, it's my fault he has an obsession with Frag now. That's my bad, buddy. Jessie, you play Frag?
バルトラ様がお預けになった品をお引き取りにいらっしゃったんですよね。はい。ジジ上が僕たちのために
Oh, I figured out the echo in my headphones. I figured it out, chat. Don't worry. There was a setting that was clicked on my OBS. Somehow. Oh my god, I just noticed her nipples are just about out. What?
Who?
The I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by the physics of her. She's giving us a gift from Bartra at a gate. I saw a thing about somewhere someone's stringing together a bunch of PS3s to data mine. No cheesy, no play frag. I have thieves to collect. You go play your Alice. All hail the jiggle physics. Dylan, there's so much cleavage in this game. I'll go get it right now. Okay. Open
Twiz.
the approach you.
Twiz, I need RAM.
Great. Engraving allows you to craft engraved equipment using certain equipment items. Crafting a piece of engraved equipment provides it literally. I didn't finish. When you have all the required materials, you can craft a piece.
That's what she said.
Like it didn't let me finish reading it. Her nipples are not one of the 7 sins. Oh my god, I got new armor. Sick. Oh, we have to go to the Fairy King's Forest. Are you down?
You finally let me invite you.
No, not the ads. I think it's because I was doing a main quest thing. Love you.
Yeah, that would do it. Dick.
I'm sorry about the ads, guys. What?
What?
What'd you say, Dylan? Okay, that's fine. Love you. Sorry, Dylan was...
I love you, Dylan.
Jojo said he loves you, Dylan. He said he loves him most. I don't know why my ads are... Let me try to fix that, Do you want to let him in here? If he wants in here? I don't know if he does. He was just standing at the gate. Okay, hopefully I fixed the ads. I don't like how long they are. Print screen. Okay. What'd you say, Jojo?
What?
Are you coming on this quest with me?
Yeah, you said hold on.
Oh, I did? I think you're making that up.
You said you were gonna send like $3,000 or something. Wow.
$3,000 from where? Not my pocket.
Oh, let me draw these heroes.
Using the power of the Book of Stars, Tristan restores the destroyed ship. Now they should be able to set sail for the Fairy King's Forest. Board the restored ship and head to the Forgotten Pier.
Go ahead and do that because I've done it.
Oh, you already did this? Damn! I thought, what happened to, I don't want to play 7 Deadly Sins without you because I don't want to get too far in the quest line.
I did it right when I got on. I thought I was having to catch up to you.
What? Where do I go? The orange. Right? Let's go.
Have you drawn all your heroes?
Is that the thing where you can do like draw 1 or draw 10, like frag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got Drake.
Oh, where do you wait? No, I did the weapons. Where do you draw the heroes? Oh!
You can get heroes or weapon.
Oh, yeah, I did draw 10 on Escanor because I didn't realize you could click all of them. Oh, wait, no, I got more. Draw 10 on regular. I got the same fucking thing. What the fuck? Exclusive skin. Aw, I wanna do that. Everybody say hi, Kelso. He's a rare Kelso sighting. What's on me? Who do I have? Ooh, I have Dreyfus.
Make sure you get all your rewards and everything.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Shadow!
Shadow Dragon 92523 just rated with 4 viewers.
Hello!
Whoa, you can see this guy's
Thank
everything.
you for the raid! Here is the raid message right there. Thank you so much. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for the raid. What were you doing? Playing Ninja Gaiden 4? Gaiden? Ninja Gaiden 4? What? I don't know how to say it. What? Gaiden. Gaiden? 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 Yeah, I played the DLC. Gaiden. Thank you. Gaiden. You cannot sit there and laugh at me for not knowing how to pronounce it. But welcome in. Thank you again for the raid. I hope you had a really good stream. If you know me, my name's OblivyOnyx, but everybody calls me Onyx. I'm a variety streamer. I play every game under the sun. I love horror stuff, though, too. Horror is the best. Now, right now, we are actually editing our team on 7 Deadly Sins. And if the raid message has been up long enough, we will go back to the gameplay screen. You got it. What did Beef say? Dragon King. Hi, Dragon King. How are you? Oh, let me give Shadow a shout out. There we go. There's a game that I want to play. It's called The Isle, and you play as a dinosaur.
Nice.
I don't know what I just did. Oh, wait. I think I get it. Okay. Quick sec. This is my team too. Gotcha. Him. Gonna have the toughest ones. 457, 901. 27. And 235. Team 3. We're gonna do the weakest ones. So we're gonna do Dreyfus. Gila. Dreyfus, Gila. Let me read chat. I see. Ooh, favorite show. I'm the baby. Gotta love me. I love Seven Deadly Sins as well. Sorry, I'm gonna put chat back in here in a second. Give me 2 seconds. We'll just make this go away for right. Oh, not cam media. Where is it? We'll make that disappear for a second. We're doing the weakest ones. So we got Dreyfus and we got Gila. Dreyfus and then 209. And then we should do these. This one. Okay, so we got the weakest ones, strongest ones, and then we have our little mix. I do want... Okay, I think this is fine. Hi, Goof. Better now that I have food. Hi, Goof. How are you? Welcome in. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. Oh my god, all my favorite people are here. Let's bring chat outline back up.
I've been here.
Yeah, I know you've been here. I said all my favorite people. There we go. What? I want to be Meliodas. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. This way. Gotta get to the boat. The boat. And it wouldn't let me fly all the way over here, and I don't know why. I'm honored to be one of your favorites. Helldivers has been pretty popular. I'm glad you handled all your adulting today. I'm proud of you. Nachos. Oh, spaghetti and ravioli. I have a cheeseburger waiting on me. And I'm starving. Oh, I can't pick it. I didn't get to eat before stream. Hey, Dylan? Whenever you get up to go to bed, you want to bring me my food? Please. Thank you. Yep. God, it reminds me of Zelda. What's all this? This seagull. Mine now. Oh, I can't go until you get done with your quest.
I'm on the way.
It won't let me. Rob everything. Take it all. If you want to continue doing your quest, I could just come to where you are. I don't want to interrupt anything you're doing.
I'm not doing a quest.
It said you are. Waiting on party member to finish quest is what my thing says.
How'd you get over this water?
What do you mean?
I'm having to swim to this spot.
I climbed. Did I get don't even know how to fish. It didn't tell me. I don't want to fish anymore. How do I not fish?
Just left click to fish.
Oh. Like when they grab the hook, you just left click? There's stairs to get over here. There's like wooden stairs. Will you shut up? Ooh, clove tea. Oh. I am in a some time ago.
森が燃やされていない。
Forest is fine.
おお、妖精王様、いつお戻りになったんですか？
はあ、早くお戻りになられてよかったです。
Am I
ハー
king?
レクイーン、
Oh my god, I'm
そ
king.
の姿は一体。ここが妖精王の森かよ。
ここは妖精王の森の近くにある鳩場だよ。
妖精王の森はここから遠くないはずだ。行こう。
ハウザーさんは妖精王の森までの道を知ってますか？
ここからの道案内は頼むぞ、ティオレ。
Counting on
い
me.
よいよ僕の出番だね。この辺りは子供の頃から何度
Came
も
here
来
all
て
the
るから
time as a kid, so I know it like the back of my hand.
妖精王の森はあっちだよ。
Hey. I hate when my hair does the split thing. It bothers me so bad. I do not know why. Where are you? What are you doing?
I'm right here, y'all. Where you at?
I'm up here. Oh, I see you. There's treasure.
There's treasure in them forests.
There's treasure afoot.
You would say a foot.
A foot. A foot.
And feet.
This is the last time I'm playing a game with you. I just hope you know that.
You could never.
I just hope you know. Chessie has the brain cell.
You didn't see this shiny sword right here you could pick up?
I did. I picked it up.
Oh.
It disappears on my screen. Dumbass. I was doing... not that. Where are we? Where is it telling
Yeah, some
me
kind
to
of
go?
lizards.
What's this? Constellation stone, constellation stone. I don't... Oh, we're supposed to fix the boat. I remember now.
Don't worry about me, I'm just fighting over here.
You're doing good. Doing wonderful. My loot.
Shit, I didn't know I had your volume on my phone.
Cool.
Have you been hearing yourself?
No, actually, I have not. And your mic sounds good today.
I moved it.
Oh, good job.
I moved it to the right side of my desk where no other fucking wires are. And I quit using the little box it came with, the little thing with the soundboard.
Oh my god, I found teeth.
Where?
Oh, hell yeah. Tooth fairy
losing
dentures. I'm down here. We gotta fix the boat. I
Where?
just said that.
Where?
At the dock.
Then why did we come up here?
I could have sworn that's what it said we had to do. Right? I don't remember.
I think you'd have to. I already did it.
Hold on.
I already fixed it. Is yours fixed right here?
Hold on. Okay. Gotcha. I'm in the wrong place. I gotta go
僕少し強くなったみ
that
たい
way. Come, come. Let's go a
Where'd you
questing.
go?
What do you mean?
Jesus. You're so
I gotta
fast.
move. I gotta move. Fast as fuck, boy. I gotta go. There's not enough time in the day.
I do want to play at least one game of frag.
Oh yeah, I want to play some frag tonight too. Don't worry. I'm thinking hop off this game at
Where-
like, I don't know,
Where are you?
10:30 and do frag.
You're not on my screen, dude.
I'm up the cliff. Climb up.
I am.
I'm right here. I see you.
I'm up the
Oh, I
cliff.
see you fighting. You're fighting for your life.
I don't see you.
Look up. Literally just up.
I was just on where you... They need to fix the maps. Because I was on top of where it said you were.
There was nobody up
That's
here as I was
crazy.
climbing.
That's wild.
That's wild. Spice Master.
Spice.
Spice Master. I love Italian food. Oh,
I love Italian men.
God. Stuffed shells. Manicotti. Oh my God. Tortellini. I'm a slut for tortellini.
Bro, I made some spinach and cheese tortellinis the other
Ooh, that sounds so good. Fucking
day with a light,
Why is it so
little
foggy over here?
marinara.
Marinara.
Hmm.
No, Alfredo. It's good in marinara. Oh my God, look at the bridge. I want to climb the bridge. Why are you flying? There's a bridge.
I made it a lot quicker.
Oh, see. Oh my God, there's a lizard
Do we have to
attack.
go down?
This lizard
The question mark is down. Down there.
down?
Yeah.
Oh, it's where the bridge is.
Oh. Fucking
Oh.
bridge.
こんな
Thank you.
Cutscene.
Because I was about to fall to my death
I
anyway.
never thought I'd get to visit the Fairy King Spores like this.
7つの大罪の一員である妖精王のキングさんと
King of the
巨人族の女王
King,
ディアンヌさ
the
ん
Fairy King,
つまり
and
ティオレイのご両親が治
I
めてい
can't
る
read
んだった
fast enough.
ね。
そして僕が生まれた場所でもあるの。僕は
Dude,
ね
King.
fuck chunks of tomato in the marinara sauce.
Oh, I don't want chunks of tomato.
No chunks.
No
パパ
chunks.
とママは
No fucking onions.
I love onions.
素敵な出会いをしたんだよ。
やれや
I
れ
love onions.
親の所用の賜物だなあの親にして
I'm the
I like
risotto chef in
I
my
like
family.
peppers.
それって褒め言葉？悪口？どっちなの？
Dylan hates lasagna and ravioli, like anything that's stuffed with
母親そっくりだ
cheese, you know, like any pasta stuffed with cheese he does not like.
一人で家を出て冒険なんてすごいな。
Which is so sad because that's like my favorite
パ
food.
パ上やママ上に頼ってばかりだ。
Yeah, I don't like chunks,
キング
man.
も長えこと森から出てたせいで
I don't want to bite into a tomato.
一度
Ew.
使わしたんだろう？確かにそんなこともあったけど、妖精王の森に
Albion.
アルビオン
Oh, I'll tell you what Dylan
すごく
eats.
強い怪物が襲ってきて
Does Dylan eat grown-up food?
パパが戻ってきて森を
No, he loves food.
王
He
様だと
just
認められなくても
he does it's textures. So like
そうやって
the only thing he really like for real hates is
パパにもう一度
olives.
王様になって
I feel like I'm gonna
頼ん
sneeze.
だんだよパパったらかっこよす
Are
ぎ
you watching this?
I don't know what is she doing?
Because I already pressed escape. Like,
Oh, I was just letting it run for chat.
I done said fuck Chad.
Dylan hates olives. He likes the flavors of mushrooms, but he can't eat mushrooms because of the texture. And then like the stuffed pasta, it's because of the texture as well. Does everything look good on my end, chat? so.
I think.
I think it does.
Move.
Why isn't the barrier letting us through? Edible
Don't you-
moss.
I can't see you moving. Are you moving?
On the game or like me?
You're getting. Okay, I was delayed. Hold on. You're moving. You're good.
すごい綺麗。
It's so
先が
foggy,
全
can't
然
see
見え
a
ない。
thing. Oh, the fog.
これはね、
Yeah,
侵
I
入者
skipped
を
it.
防ぐための結界
But I
なん
want to
だ。
know.
だが
Okay.
我がリオネス王国は妖精族の友好国だ。侵入者でないと分かったはずだから、結界を解いてくれても良さそう
It's
な
still
んだ。
just Japanese for me.
It is too, yeah. It's
結界
okay.
は働くの？
あれ結界が強化された
Fuck's
み
sake,
た
my
い。
Twitch is
どう
being
したのか
buggy.
な
I was trying to say my brother Aaron doesn't like the texture of mushrooms, but he likes the flavor. Him and ads don't pop out.
結
No,
界で
not
道
the
を間違え
ad.
たら入り口に戻っ
I've never seen Aaron spelled like that.
I haven't either, actually. That's crazy. It's a very unique way to spell Aaron.
I think you have to come over here.
僕たち。
Whoa,
Oh,
what are
yeah.
we supposed to do?
What? What?
Oh my god, this is why we watch the
following this?
cutscenes.
こんなに厳しく
Oh,
な
wait.
かったんだけど。
It's like the Koroks.
とにかくなんとか進んでみよ
What's a Korok?
Oh my god, we're getting hurt. I'm getting hurt. I'm getting so hurt.
You gotta jump over what he's doing.
Oh. You just do that, I'm just gonna follow him.
キロレの言う通り。
Oh,
Oh no, you can't.
yeah.
You can't stray
We're
too
supposed
far.
to follow him.
みたいだ。
You can't.
I just read the side of the screen.
No, I can't see anything in the fog. There we go. Every time I mention Korok, you say what's a Korok, and it just makes me laugh
う。
so hard.
You done messed up now, Aaron.
もしかして森に何かあったんじゃ。
大丈夫だよ。結界の中は安全なはずだから。
警備のための仕組みを時々変えるのは当然だが、リオネス城でも警備兵の合言葉とか定期的に変えて。
霧が消えているぜ。
Why is it-
What up, Ghost?
Oh my god.
Turn on your camera right now, or else turn it on.
Hey,
Turn on your camera.
Iggy!
you wanna play Frag?
Iggy, you wanna play Frag? Yeah, it's because I clicked
ど
out
うしよう。
on chat.
とりあ
Sorry.
えずゲラード様のとこに案内すっぺ。最近森に
Hi,
変なことが
Ghost. How are
多いよね。
you? I didn't like deviled eggs and mashed potatoes for 25 years because my childhood daycare couldn't cook, but I love them now. I love deviled eggs and mashed potatoes. Potatoes of any kind.
あ
Please.
あ、だから
Yes.
結界が強化されてたの。
Where do we see what server we're on, Ghost?
ああ、ありゃ妖精王様と女王様が森を出られっとき。
I'm free. Ooh, Frag. Haggy, we were thinking about Frag in like 30 minutes
留
or
守の間
so.
の安全のためにって。
10
そうしたって。
Oh. Wind element stones can be charged using a hero's wind attacks or adventure skills. Once fully charged, they release a wind sphere forward. Okay. Use the Book of Stars movement to position the element stone, ensuring the wind sphere hits the target accurately. Wind spheres can instantly trigger objects of the same element, such as windflowers or pollen. I'm still running. Oh, that was wrong. How do I do the... How do I do this? The star again? Is it? Oh, it's this. Okay.
Trying to figure out what server we're in.
We're American East. It tells you when
Okay.
you get into the game.
Oh, I mean, he asked.
Oh. What is this making me do? I'm not getting. I'm not understanding.
You don't have to do anything with this.
It was just telling us about the wind stones.
You better go down here with a question mark in.
Yeah, but it was just telling us about windstones.
I don't care.
I think it's trying to teach us how to fly with them.
Well, you're about to be in a cutscene in just a second.
No! Hold on. We were supposed to fly.
Okay.
We were supposed to fly through the rings above us.
All right.
What? Don't you talk to me like I'm a
so
child.
much fun.
It does actually.
Come on.
I'm here. I just ran past you.
Oh my god, I came back all the way up.
Bro, what do you mean?
Look at me gliding. Ah.
See, you're supposed to glide. Told you. Cutscene. Potatoes are amazing. I love all potatoes of all kinds in every way, shape, or form. Something's wrong with the book. Did Hagee answer?
He told you to fuck off.
I don't understand where the animosity is coming from, but I want you to know it's not chill.
Just kidding, Jesus.
You need to calm down. And for an after dinner snacks, a big bag of tater crisps. Dylan hates when I call them taters.
Ugh.
He hates it. I do it on purpose just to annoy him. But it drives him crazy when people like mispronounce words.
Onyx.
Yes.
I just got invited to a group on Facebook Messenger called Cleaning with Keeks.
That's not me.
Like, same spelling as your nickname and everything.
No, that's not me. I promise that's not me. It's an imposter.
Oh, I know it's not.
See, they're jumping on the flat. Oh, we're dropping some frames.
Where?
The flowers are causing me to drop frames. I can't get down.
I lost you again.
My computer doesn't want to. I'm down. Just keep running down.
I'm gonna glide.
Oh, I see you. My computer doesn't like looking at the flowers. Oh my god. Maybe I should drop my graphics.
You have a minute to talk about your extended warranty?
When I got a colonoscopy, I thought about writing that on a note and putting it between my butt cheeks for my doctor to find. I actually did. You can. I'm being so serious. You can ask Dylan. I mentioned it to him before my appointment, and he died. And I was like, would that be weird?
I need that voice clip. Somebody clip that shit.
That's what I did. I was like, should I do that or would it be weird?
What a fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I had only met the doctor the day of the appointment, like when I was put to sleep. I met him like 30 minutes before I got put to sleep, so I didn't do it. I feel like if it was like my doctor that I knew for a while, then I'd probably do it. Oh, I don't like turning down the graphics. Everything looks boring now. I hear left. What'd she do to her face?
I made pulled up a quote from her little quote command.
Oh.
And it says, "No, I don't want them on my face."
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know when that was from.
Peggy, are you joining Frag? I didn't see if you answered. I'm sorry if you did. And chat flew by. I apologize, sir. Papa! Ooh. Oh no. Why are you gonna fly away from your daughter like that? That's rude. What the fuck?
Wait, now how old did you say this little fairy thing is?
Wow, ignoring me. I wasn't ignoring you. I will ignore you now on purpose, though, as punishment. What'd you say? This fairy? I don't know, like 16?
I think you're just saying that.
I don't know. Let me go look up
What's her
Fiora.
name?
Hold on. the aura.
昔の姿に戻ってねえか？そういえばパパ、羽もなかったし髪型も。ゲラードに聞いてみるしかないかな。
She's 11, Jojo.
早く
And
ゲラードさんの
15
ところ
in
に
the
行こう。
later.
こっちだよ。
Yeah, she's 11 in this game.
Okay, you wanna play frag?
あれがその噂の妖精王の森の大樹。ホーク、お前もここは初めてだよな。
That's not a fucking 11-year-old.
この俺様は忙しい身でな。
I don't understand
Right?
why game. That's not. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing this out there. Some people develop faster than others. I know this is a video game character. I'm trying to say this correctly without getting canceled. I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you, buddy. Buck. Keeping it a buck with chat. Try to keep it politically correct.
Dude, are you getting a screen tear right here, like all the way through?
Yeah, my screen is freaking out.
What the fuck?
I thought it was the flowers.
It's right here.
Ugh. Oh my god.
Oh,
What
I
is
fell out of
that?
the world.
What? Where'd you go?
I am under the world.
Oh my god, I want to
I'm
be
about
under
to
the
take a
world.
screenshot.
How do I do that? How do I do that? Help me.
It was where I was standing. There's a big crack in the world.
I see absolutely nothing.
Hold on, I'm
I
gonna
want to
send it to
see
you.
the crack. Activate. Yeah, I'm down for some frag. Quick spam chat so she can't see my answer. What? Okay, be down for frag then. Jojo fell into the crack. Jojo! Can I see you on the map? Oh, I do see you. Hi. Oh my god, thank you so much. Guys, they're cold now. No. They're soggy though. I like soggy fries. Is that weird, chat? Oh, thank you for the follow, Ghost.
Ghosts Nightmare 3 just
I
followed.
sent it to you. Don't open it on stream.
Ghost gets a fortune cookie because they follow. Thank you so much for the follow. Y'all cool? Thanks. You're cool too. Hi, Dylan. Bye, Dylan. Let's give
Dude,
Ghost.
I pressed auto move to the quest, and Hawk's just running around down here.
Down under the world?
Yeah, I sent you a screenshot of where I'm at. Don't bring it up on screen.
Okay. Ghost,
Because of our
your
last conversation.
Ghost, your fortune says, with integrity and consistency, your credits are piling up. Does that mean like good karma? Like good things are piling up? Go look.
Am I down here?
Oh my god, can you see me above you?
Hawk took me like directly under the question mark.
Okay,
Do you
hold
see
on.
me?
No, it's literally just a game, like normal.
I'm under a huge tree.
Yeah, the fairy tree. Let me see if it does something when I run in. It might do a cutscene. Oh my god, it's so pretty. Wow. That's where Elaine
I
was
see a bunch of
playing.
fairy rings up there.
Right here? Viewpoint? Oh yeah, Elaine's grave. Okay, let me talk to Gearhard.
お帰りなさいませ、ティオレス。楽
What?
You're down here with me.
I'm down there with you?
Oh nope, I'm back. I'm falling back into the world.
Let's see what happens. Hi,
You were
Turtle.
down there with me for a second.
Chat, say hi, Turtle. Don't disturb the fairy trees. It's actually a fortune teller. She doesn't just pick at random. She lets the spirits guide her. Thank you, appreciate it. I'm on my EU server. Oh. Finishing up my side quest before I fight Bug again before Spider main quest. Oh, cool. This is only, well, I played the demo and then this is like my second time playing it. I need to play it more. There's so many things to do.
It took her like 4 hours to get through the tutorial.
Yeah, it did. There's so many things to look at. It's so good. Thank you for the lurk, Chessie. I'll be over in your stream as soon as I'm done with mine, like always. Terrible, chat says hi. She's drinking her water now. They have the longest cutscenes ever.
Chessie needs to start fucking playing games with me offline too. And Twiz.
I think also I don't play games offline because whenever I'm offline, I'm spending time with family. So like, I hate to miss out on family time, you know? I love you! You're a queen, Jessie! Jessie's so cunty. Diva.
What's wrong with her ass?
Whose ass?
She looks like a honeybee.
Oh, Gerhard? Her legs were cut off.
Oh, now I feel like an ass.
Yeah, by, it was, if I remember correctly, it was somebody that she started having feelings for in the show. And
oh my god.
it was a human, yeah, the human. A human cut off her legs and started falling for it. Yeah, it was sad. Very, very sad. You should feel like a kid. Also, she's not a beehive. FYI.
How old is Gerhard?
Like 1,000.
She looks like she's 11.
She's like 1,000. Hold on, I'll look.
Hey, you never finished your statement. You need to cancel yourself.
She's 4,200 years old.
How?
She's an advisor to the fairy king. Because fairies are immortal. They're not invincible. They can die, but they're immortal. They could live forever if they stay out of trouble. There's a difference between immortality and invincibility.
Actually,
my 7-year-old says that to me. When I say something to him and he wants to tell me I'm wrong, he'll go, actually. A message for the captain. Okay. Where to go now?
this way.
Oh wait, there's a chest right here.
Don't take my chest.
Chest.
Chesticle.
Okay, which way? I want to get out of this forest. It's freaking causing my screen to skip so much. Oh my god. Graphics.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was just me.
No. It's my computer too, I promise. Oh my god, they're getting jiggy with it. Where's younger dad?
Luna's getting her first tooth.
Oh, is she Stevens?
Yeah.
Poor baby.
But I didn't even know. Because, I mean, she
Chill.
only cries when she wants milk and shit. Like,
Milk and shit. At least she's not like my daughter. She got all of her teeth at the same, like all 4 of her front teeth at the same time. She's got all of the teeth that are grouped in the same groups as each other. She got all of them at the same time. So like all of her molars at the same time, all of her canines. It was bad.
I put her in the little baby carrier on the front of me and take her for a walk every day.
Aww. I bet she loves it.
She does. She fell asleep today on it.
Oh, she's mad at her dad.
Oh no, all I hear is...
I wish I could understand.
Me too.
Like, actually, I know it's telling us with the captions, but like, I wish I could understand the language. That would be really cool.
All I know is ni hao means hello.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Stop your whining.
ちょっと待ってティオレ。興奮しすぎだよ。少し落ち着いてから話した方。
僕、パパの冒険の話が大好きだったのに。
Oh, I hear a little feedback from your mic. Just a smidge.
Bullshit.
Just a smidge.
Really?
Yeah, really.
I'm gonna throw my PC somewhere.
Baby fairies. Oh.
I haven't moved anything.
It's probably just support, or maybe it's just. Where'd you get that mic?
Timu.
That might be the issue.
Could be.
風の花は満開になると空に風を吹きつけるんだ。幼い妖精たちは風の花の風に乗って遊びながら飛ぶ方法を身につけるの。
For them to learn how to fly. Aww. They're floating on the flowers to learn how to fly.
Now, does it sound like feedback, or does it sound like my son snoring?
No, it sounds like the crackly, like the electricity. You know?
It's not showing up.
It was for a split second.
Stop complaining.
I'm not. I'm just. I thought you wanted to know.
No, I don't want to know anything.
Screamer.
What?
ティオレ、いきなりどうしたの？大丈夫？
あのスクリーマーの歌声を聞いたら急にクラクラして。
10-14.
スクリーマー？ちょっとティオレ、
You have to follow
助け
the
てもらっ
screamer?
たお礼は言わなくちゃ。
Hello, sir. Oh, you guys are mean. It has the kids. It has the kids.
I'll kill him.
Oh my god. Get him, get him. There we go. The poor babies. No, kidnapping! Why is his eyes like that? Ding!
やっぱりこれが原因か。
あれ私たちどう
What are we doing here? Dad is dead.
ねえパパ、さっきはこの森のスクリーマーたち
Translated
は
this shit
2
for
つ
me.
の群れに分かれて暮らしているんだ。光の庭園のスクリーマーは妖精たちとも仲良しなんだけど、誘惑の森のスクリーマーたちはちょっと神経質だから気をつけてね。
How long are you gonna be
ま
on
ずは
till?
光の庭園の方へ行
Probably
ってみよう。
11:30 like
さ
usual.
っきのスクリーマーもそこにいるかもしれない。
I'll get out or get off. I'll start winding chat down at 11:30. Raid out, and then I have to highlight some videos, and I have to pull some VODs off YouTube and send them to Chessie. She needs them for the podcast thing. I'm trying to be better at managing my time, because on top of streaming, which is anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, 4 nights a week, I also have to clip and highlight and make like the picture for the highlight video. What's that called again? Thumbnail. I have to do all that, and then I'm busy during the day with the kids, so I gotta find some time. So I try to do it after stream as fast as I can. I'm ready to start, Frag, whenever you are. I'm ready. Oh my god, look at all this screamer.
どこにいるんだろう。あれ？
Oh?
いたいた。あそこにいたよ。
ヌックをいじめないで。ヌックは何も悪くないもん。
Nothing wrong.
あれ、ビオラ？
The TikTok that I posted
Mm-hmm.
of left
そうだよ。僕が森を
is my
出る前
most
に
viewed
結
one
成した妖精王の森冒
with
険
like
団の
200 something views,
冒険団？
and mine get like
そこは気にし
2
なくていいよ。
or 6.
I think
それよりもビオラ、
my most
こんなとこ
viewed
ろで何してるの？危ないじゃん。
is a
それに後ろのその子、
selfie,
僕が探してた
and it
ストリ
says
ーマー
starting
みたいだ
soon
け
for
ど
one of my streams, and it has like 2K views or something, and I don't understand why.
自分でもなんであんなことをしたのか
I'm
わ
not
か
good
ら
at
ないって。
TikTok. I don't know the hashtags and shit. I should
I
learn.
don't think I'm good at
なぜか急
TikTok.
に歌いたくなったって。
I just
You are good at TikTok. You TikTok all day. Like
not
you're
all
always posting
day.
something.
I try to post one gaming clip a day on the days that I stream, and then most nights I post a going live, and then on Mondays I also post the schedule, and then I post that to all my social medias, Discord, and YouTube, and Twitch. Yeah. I do
I'm
a
already halfway there.
do a lot for my channel. Chessie had just messaged me the other day asking how what I did to like post my highlights and my clips and like all that, and I was like, I just do it by hand. I just post it manually.
友達になったんだ。
That's how much I love streaming. I put in the work because I legitimately
秘密の場所で僕と
like this is the
遊んでた
one
の。
thing in my life I enjoy doing.
ところが
See
今
what
朝そこで変な人になったんだって。
I don't think she's streaming. I think she's
ヌ
just
ックは
playing
怖がり屋で
with her
ね。
friends.
逃げようとしたら
Her other
Oh.
friend and Chaos are all playing right now.
そして気がついたら遊び場にいたんだって。
Oh.
変な人に歌っていたらその時ヌックの
あ、じゃあおかしいね。
そこまではわからん。団長、もし僕がここに来たのも僕のヌック
I
が
want to play
何か
RV
知ら
there
ない
yet.
か
I want to peek too. I haven't played peek in so
みんな
long.
無事かな。
大丈夫大丈夫。妖精王の精霊の憩いの場。デイジーって妖精がそこにいるんだっけ？
Okay, where do we go now?
大
Go this way.
昔の妖精って話だったよね。 ゲラードさんがデイジーさんは星の書についても知ってるって言ってたから、もしかしたら
She's not in a VC on her from her Discord.
Who?
そうかもそうかも。いろいろと
Might
聞
be
い
a
て
private
みよ
call.
う。
You stalker.
Well then.
Stalker. It's okay. I opened Steam to see who she was playing with. It didn't tell me.
Same.
Oh my god, we are like...
Dude, the Outlast Trials was so
I want to
fucking
play
scary.
so bad.
I'll play right now.
I want to play, but I want to play with Orky because we always said we were going to play with her. I don't...
They're too good at it though.
They're so good at games like that.
They were running around and I was like, I kept dying. It's scary.
I was so sad because that was the night I was having so many tech issues that I would have 100% played with you guys. I couldn't get it figured out at the time.
You said you have Misery?
I think I do. I think Logan has it in the family library. I'll have to double check.
Logan has it on his wish list.
Oh, if Logan has it in his wish list, then I might not have it. Oh, what is this thing?
Because they have 10-player servers now.
Oh, dang. I didn't realize there was mushroom monsters.
妖精の子供たち、キノコの群生地に入ったなら、閉じ込められて出られなくなったのかもしれない。
Devour is one of them games you really
fucking love Devour.
have to play during Halloween.
I love Devour so much. That's such a good game.
But it's not a game you just play all year though.
I play any horror game all year, you know me. I don't wait for Halloween for games like that. A lot of other streamers do though. That's okay. Just not me. I like horror all year round.
こりゃ間違いなく入ったら死ぬぜ。これはキノコから吹き出してる。
I've been so into Frag that I haven't played Vindictus in like
Let's go!
since I started playing.
Let's go play Frag. Come on.
風で毒の霧を吹き飛ばして。
I have 7,300 hours in Vindictus.
I still want to try out the game that Blakeland told me to try out. PSO2.
Yeah,
He said it's really, really, really good.
I forgot to look that up. Fantasy Star Online. The second one, New Genesis,
Yeah. It's his like favorite game right now.
is free,
Yeah, he said the character customization is crazy.
but it says 48% of the reviews are mixed.
I don't even look at reviews when
Jesus
I play a
Christ.
game.
I hate whenever I click on something and it starts playing loud music.
Me too.
69.
Haggy, if you're still there, we're in my voice chat in Discord. Buddy.
I'll try to pull him in there. I'm gonna try to pull him in.
Actually, while we're waiting for Haggy, I might open PSO2 for a minute.
You might do what?
I think I'm gonna download PSO2 real quick.
Oh, there's the invite button. I found it. I don't. There he is. He is playing something right now, so.
You're such a stalker.
Discord showed me he was playing something. There he
Jesus.
is. There he is.
Jesus, he's stalking you.
I'm not stalking.
He is stalking. Hey, Hoggy Woggy. Oh.
I'm booting it up now.
Oh, you're taking too long.
Okay, well, no.
Come on, Frag. Boot up, boot up.
Set your
Don't even have it
priority
open.
high.
It's loading. Okay.
Yeah, you don't even have it open.
It's loading.
Yeah.
Look, see?
See, I'm already on the screen.
I was before, and then I exited out, and then I'm going back in.
Yeah, right.
I swear, it's with the VOD.
Right.
Are we doing standard? Are we doing ranked?
Standard first.
I haven't played this in a while.
Well, you were just playing with us the other day, weren't you?
Played with you a Thursday. I don't remember which.
Every time you say I haven't played this in a while, it's always been like within the last week that you've played it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
That doesn't mean a while, Hakey.
Hey, a day's a while.
No, it's not. Go, hooah! We're jumping right in. Don't overthink it.
I'm overthinking.
I'm gonna overthink it. Oh my god, this wild style skin is so cute.
Which one?
It's the one that says Acme on the front. It looks like a newspaper. The shirt.
Oh, I have that one.
Cute.
And I have the Elegant Heiress.
Elegant Heiress. Fancy.
And I upgraded it to one of the purple ones.
Tell me why I always get stuff for other Lancers that I don't use. I never get stuff for Zephyr. Ever.
Well, I got a dope ass skin for that sonar person.
Oh.
But I don't use them.
Assignment confirmed.
Oh,
Countdown
match.
Stay frosty.
Giggly puff.
I forget how to play this game.
No, you haven't.
Yeah.
You're gonna carry us.
Nah.
May the
Oh wait, no, all my anime girls.
Hi, Pooh! Oh my god. Happy Uranus to you, Pooh.
Oh, I bet that part
Pooh,
will be amazing.
you want to do RV there yet soon?
Use your point, use your point. On it.
Double the fun.
We were just talking. I was literally just thinking to myself, I need to message Pooh and see if she wants to do RV there yet.
Who are you wanting to use, Peggy?
I wonder if my mom and dad are still out there. Maybe even in a place like this.
Oh my god, that was...
Probably dead.
Oh my god, did you hear her line?
Peggy?
I shall message you, Pooh, and we shall figure out a day.
So I'm in the lobby, but not the match.
What?
Oh.